Changing dimensions. Sometimes part of a single figure will change. In that case, examine the formula closely. For example, a cylinder has a radius of 6 centimeters and a height of 8 centimeters. Part A, if the height of the cylinder increases by a factor of 4, by what factor does its volume increase? So notice that they're talking about the volume of a cylinder. Going to our formula sheet, we find the formula for volume of a cylinder is V equals pi r squared h. Now, when something increases by a factor of 4, factor is something that is multiplied. So we are multiplying by 4 to the height. So we're going to change just the part of the height to be multiplied by 4. So instead of h, it will be 4h. Because it's multiplied, it increases by a factor of 4. Let's write the rest of the formula around that. So instead of h, it's 4 times h. Now, what factor does the volume increase by? We can rearrange these factors so that the pi, r squared, and h are all next to each other. What does that mean? Well, remember that multiplication is commutative and associative. So we can, instead of multiplying in this order, we can multiply the pi, r squared, and h together, and then multiply the 4 after. They're still all multiplied, just like this, but the 4 is multiplied after. Notice that this part right here is what V equals from the formula. So this means V is multiplied by 4. So by what factor does the volume increase? It's also multiplied by a factor of 4. So the factor in question is 4. Now, notice B asks something similar but slightly different. If the radius of the cylinder increases by a factor of 4, by what factor does its volume increase? So again, we're starting with our volume formula, V equals pi r squared h. But this time, instead of the height increasing, it's the radius increasing by a factor of 4. So we remember factor means multiply. So we're going to take the r, and it will be 4 times r. Everything else around that will stay the same. So the r is squared, that means the 4r is squared. The h is multiplied, the pi is multiplied, and it equals v. Let's simplify this a little bit. Because we're squaring 4r, that means 4r times 4r. 4 times 4 is 16, and r times r is r squared. So 4r squared turns into 16r squared. And then, of course, times h. Now, just like we did over here, we can rearrange so that the pi r squared h are all next to each other. Here's the pi, the r squared, and the h. So we'll rewrite this with the pi r squared h first, and then the 16 after, times 16. Again, notice all of this is all of our volume formula, which means this is the same as saying volume times 16. So what factor does the volume increase? This time by a factor of 16. Thanks for watching.